Hello, hello, and welcome everybody to the next video in the Create Better Content series, where I show you how to tap into your creativity so that you never run out of content ideas again. I am Penny, and I'm your guide through this creative content development process. I'm going to be teaching you how to create more engaging content to post that's going to help you reach more qualified customers online. And if you want to learn more about creativity and how this can help you develop your content marketing plans, I'd love to see you hit that button and subscribe to this channel. So we're continuing on with my celebration month. Part birthday and part work anniversary, where I'm celebrating 24 years in business. Wow, 24 years. Wow. Sorry, I had to take a moment just to think about that long. So today's video, I'm going to share with you some more of my personal stories, my own creative story, as a matter of fact. And I'm going to show you how this relates to my purpose. And I want to talk about purpose, especially within the context of showing you how to add storytelling into your content. All right, so let's get started. Jimmy Neal Smith, who's the founder of the International Storytelling Center, said, "There isn't a stronger connection between people than storytelling." And Smith has shared with us that science has found that when we hear a story, we actually release things like cortisol, dopamine, oxytocin into our brain. And that's just coming from all different parts of our brain, like the hypothalamus, which is all the way in the back of our head, all the way to the prefrontal cortex, which is that front area right there back behind our foreheads. So the cortisol actually assists in making like memories. Cortisol is the chemical in our body that will help the stories, keep as a memory, keep them stick, I guess is a good way of saying it. The dopamine that we receive when we listen to stories regulates our emotional responses and helps us to stay engaged. And the oxytocin actually supports something called empathy. And empathy is going to be helping us create like a deeper connection with the story, for us to see ourselves in the story, to feel the results of the story, to feel the fear, to feel the happiness, to feel the pain, to feel all of those things. So all of that stuff combined is what happens with the connection between us when we're listening to stories. And so how does all of this science stuff that I just shared with you actually help with the process of your content marketing? How does it help to connect the stories? How does this work by adding this into your content marketing? So let me start before I answer that question, because I am going to dig deep into that question today. Wow, you should see my notes on this today. But I'm going to start with sharing my creative story. When I was a little kid growing up, I didn't have a lot of kids in my neighborhood to play with at the time. It was primarily just me and my older sister, and mostly my imagination. So when you spend a lot of time by yourself as a kid, it's easy to spend time with your imaginary friends, traveling to places that you create in your head. When I look back on my childhood, I realized that we had quite a lot of creative energy flowing in our home. Both my mom and my sister played the piano, and later my sister learned how to play the clarinet. So when I reached an age that my mother deemed old enough for me to explore my own musical talents, my mother asked me if there was a particular instrument that I wanted to learn. And without any hesitation, and I said, the drums. I want to learn how to play the drums. As a parent now, I can certainly understand her concerns with my enthusiastic response. I'm sure she was thinking the noise that the drums were going to make in our small 2-bedroom apartment. And she shook her head and she looked at me and she said, "How about we sign you up for art classes?" And thus began my love of creating art. From that point on, I took any art class or program in my community to keep feeding my desire to create art projects. By the time I had hit high school, art class was my standard for my elective classes, and I had moved past the ordinary drawing of just a fruit basket. I always had a big imagination, and in one of my art classes, I painted a full-on picture of a pineapple car. And I do remember this. And it's not just I remember it because I have a visual memory of this. I remember this because it's still hanging in my mother's home. So when I go to visit with her, I can see the pineapple car that I had painted. So during these younger years, I would never have called myself an artist or even thought I was even like creative for that matter. I didn't see my future as somebody who was going to make art for a living. I didn't even know why I was drawn to wanting to paint or draw pictures made of cars or fruit. Draw pictures of cars made of fruit. I just created for the pure, honest sake of moving through the process of creating. And I certainly wouldn't have called myself an artist when I took art classes in my 20s, that it coincided with me pursuing my second college degree in the visual arts. Nor would I have considered myself creative during that time when I tried to write a kid's book in my 30s. I have a business degree, and I have spent most of my adult life working in marketing, and I couldn't see how someone who was a marketing consultant could be qualified to call themselves as a creative. I had always connected that term with somebody who made their living selling their art, and I didn't look at myself as a creative until I was smack in the middle of developing the Create Your Business content development program. The process that I developed came from one of my core ideas that business owners needed unstructured playtime to help them develop their content marketing. For the past 20 plus years, I have coached women in various stages of owning their businesses. And all of those years of working with women with this entrepreneurial spirit, I designed the Create Your Business program to give them the tools to activate that creative, that right side of their brain. I have since shifted and believed that I subscribe to the theory that we are all born creative. We just need to learn a path to help us bring this creative energy out of us and into our lives and into our businesses. So this theory, this process that I developed, became my purpose. This was my purpose for developing the Create Your Business program, because I knew that as I was growing up and I was drawn to this creative energy, I had a complete disconnect with thinking that I was a creative person, because I wasn't some sort of, high paid artist that people were buying her paintings. That wasn't me. I was a marketing major. I was a marketing consultant for 20 something years on my own. Let's not even include the time that I worked, for another company, in sales and promotions. So if we think about all of that time together, I had really taken a big shift in subscribing to the theory that we are all born creative, right? And this theory and this process that has now become my purpose for developing the Create Your Business program is to teach business owners how to tap into their creativity so that they never run out of content ideas again. Okay, so listening to my story, did you start thinking about your background, your business, thinking about maybe what's your purpose? And what I mean by purpose is the purpose is having a goal beyond just, I want to make money, and this is the revenue that I want to get. This is what I want to accomplish. This is what I want to launch. Your purpose goes beyond that. It's more than just your mission statement. It's the impact. It's the impact that's central to how your product or service helps your customers. And your purpose should be something very clear and specific. Kind of like what I just said with mine. My purpose is to teach business owners how to tap into their creativity so that they never run out of content ideas again. And also understand that I evolved into that purpose. I evolved into this place. And so you want to be clear that your purpose is not just something that's set in stone. It can grow and evolve, because when I started my business 24 years ago, that's not the place I was in. And while you're evolving, even though it comes slowly, it is deliberately, because as my company grows and your company grows, my purpose to serve small business owners with their marketing didn't change. Even though I've evolved and my company has evolved, My purpose evolved with it, but the basis of my purpose has always been to help women business owners with their marketing. I had just now, at this point with the Create Your Business program, discovered a process, created a program that can do more than just as an opportunity, to have to meet with me one-on-one. It's something that you can do by yourself, right? So I want you to think about that. So even though your purpose may have been different when you first started, your company might have been different when you first started, and you feel like your purpose doesn't serve you as well as it might have, that's when it starts to evolve. You will see that your company evolves and your purpose evolves with it. So in order to get to that place where you are going to get more people to connect to your product, we want to include something called purposeful storytelling. And that is one of these amazing elements of content marketing that I don't know if a lot of people are really digging deep into. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this a little bit more today. Because the thing about this purposeful storytelling, it needs to show a tangible, something real, a positive impact that your product has on their lives. And the narrative, the story that you tell, obviously it's going to change depending upon the target of your campaign, the people that you're really talking to, but it should always tie back to your purpose. Your content should always go back to your purpose. And not just an explanation of this is who I am and this is what I do, but it's more about a balance of engaging the storytelling mixed with educational content. And when you put those two together, that is one of the biggest keys that you're going to find with your content marketing so that you can get more conversions. These stories are really, really powerful, especially when they're very authentic to you and who you are in your business and what you stand for. So think about the story that I had shared with you earlier about how I had always been creative and never really realized it. There was a disconnect within me. And the reason that I had shared that is because as I started working with other clients and I started working with other women business owners, I realized the same thing that they were feeling too. That they were doing things like gardening, baking, doing home decor or whatever it was that they were doing to express their creative energy. And they didn't put two and two together. They didn't think about it as them feeling and expressing themselves in their creative energy. And they also weren't thinking about it in the sense of how it could connect to help them get more inspiration with regards to their content marketing, with regards even to their business, their whole business as a whole. So I shared that story with you because I want you to understand that I've been there too. It's not just a line where I can sit there and say, oh, I get that. I've been there. I really have. I really, really did. I really went through this evolution, so to speak, of my own self and my own creative moment to come to that place where I have accepted that we really are all born creative. And we just needed a path. We just need a process, a program, or whatever word you want to fill in to get us to open ourselves up to it and to really lean into it. So think about how you can add some purposeful storytelling into your content. And I get it. If you haven't done this before, storytelling can be kind of awkward if you're not used to sharing your personal experience. And I want you to know that the motivation for this storytelling, the idea behind it, it's not just to brag about yourself, or worse, to even use this space like a personal journal or something like that. But you use the story to share your purpose and look for ways that others can resonate with your experience and how they can see themselves in your story. And when you learn how to engage in purposeful storytelling, you can connect to your community and you can connect with them in a bigger way and meaningful and intentional and deliberate, and really are sharing the purpose of the work that you do. It gives you a place to share who you are, what you stand for, and how your business has a story worth telling. So thank you so much for joining me today with this creative process. If you've enjoyed this content about creativity, I hope you'll consider subscribing to this channel. And if you're ready to dig into the deep work of developing your content marketing strategy, the link is below for you to subscribe and get your own membership of the Create Your Business program. Every month, you're going to get some content like I shared with you today on today's video, and you're going to get it in a monthly interactive workbook that's going to show up in your inbox, and you will get creative tools that are going to show up at your front door. So you're going to learn how to tap into that creative side, that right side of your brain. You're going to learn that you too were born creative. And I'm going to show you a way to develop your content marketing plans in a new way that you've not done before to ensure that you will never run out of content ideas again. You are magnificent, my friend, and let me be the first to say, I'm proud of you. Until next time.